Hello everyone, I'm your host Mammoth. Well, I'm just gonna keep this video brief and up to at least 10 minutes or a little more since I feel a bit sleepy. I know I don't feel like it, but I had trouble sleeping because I couldn't really poop well. Look, look, it's just that sometimes, digesting problems cause problems with sleep. Anyway, let's get to the video. Today I'm gonna talk about the how the propaganda of hating Israel has affected many civilians alike, including certain presidents like Jimmy Carter. Of course, he's not the first president, but you know what I mean. Of course, he's not like a president, but you know what I mean.
Passed away. The former president is not alive at 99 years old, I believe. He passed away.
Of course, Jimmy Carter.
Israel. And I wanted to sort of recount some of the things that he would say about Israel.
Of course, Jimmy Carter is dead, but that doesn't. But I still feel like it's important just to highlight what his past opinions because even he might not be immune. Even he's not immune to the propaganda. Let me make one thing clear. I do not condone the deaths of any innocent civilian, whether you're Palestinian or Jewish.
Directly affecting adversely America in not bringing peace to Israel and justice and peace to the Palestinians. Yes.
You obviously were very successful in bringing peace with Israel and Egypt. Can any deal be done that doesn't involve sitting across a table with Hamas?
I've met several times with Hamas leadership, and I think they are willing to accept Israel.
I feel like it's suspicious how the former president, who is now deceased, would defend Hamas, despite Hamas being infamous for wanting to kill the Jewish people.
That is a major premise, and I think the 67 borders between the two with some modifications.
They say, I recall Jimmy Carter being respected and people criticize Donald Trump for not having class during Jimmy Carter's funeral, but we have to recognize the past actions Jimmy Carter has done, and we have to learn about the figures properly if we want to fully decide whether or not to pay respects to them or not.
Completely separated. Palestinians can even ride on the same roads that the Israelis have created or built in Palestinian territory. The Israelis never see a Palestinian.
Might I remind you that the word Palestinian is related to the Hebrew word for invader? Yes, you got that right. You're basically defending invaders. Of course, no. No. Let's not kill the Palestinians or the Jews. Instead, let's just relocate the Palestinians to where they truly belong, the Arab nations.
Why don't Americans know what you have seen?
Americans don't want to know.
In case you're wondering, I'm watching a video of Jimmy Carter's hatred of Israel is much worse than we thought, from Jewish Uncensored.
It's a terrible human rights persecution that is far transcends what any outsider would imagine. And there are powerful political forces in America that prevents any objective analysis of the problem in the Holy Land. I think it's accurate to say that no.
So I want to just review what he said on Piers Morgan first, saying that Jimmy Carter was great to get peace with Egypt, that he was this great peacemaker. Well, it wasn't that hard. Israel just gave up the Sinai, basically, and, for a piece of paper. Israel gave up the whole Sinai, which is a massive amount of land, a massive amount of oil, in order for a piece of paper. Meaning Egypt can always say, oh, actually, we sort of hate Israel now, and now we're done. This is what American presidents do. They tell Israel, hey, we want to take your land, give it to the Arabs so that they won't kill you. Because we have your best interests at heart. We don't want you
I
to,
mean,
God forbid, you know,
I feel like,
stay vigilant.
I feel
We
like
want to take
we
away
need
your
to
land,
research our
take it there,
history
because
before we
we don't
actually
want you to
make
get
our own
basically,
decisions.
that's what it is. Basically telling
The
the
people who
Arabs,
have been
do whatever you want,
indoctrinated by the
we'll give you more
Palestinian
land,
government
and
are
we'll
not,
Israel give you more land in order for peace.
the Arabs are not native to
So
that
the
area.
Arabs
The
obviously
Jews
refuse.
are.
Instead of saying, you
Historic,
guys are both sovereign
and I'm not
nations,
trying to say
neither of you
it
guys should be
with
given
my own
land. Either of you
opinions.
guys
It's been
either of you,
historically proven.
Israel,
The Arabs,
set borders,
the Arabs
this,
came from the
it's Israel's
Arabian
fault.
Peninsula,
Instead of that,
while the Jews were from the Canaanite area,
problem
not
with them,
far from the
say, no, Israel
Palestine
should
area that we know
be a
today.
sovereign nation, give land away. Like, that's not a normal thing to do, especially to your allies. And this guy was no ally of Israel, as you can see. He called it an apartheid state. An apartheid state.
Unfortunately, Jimmy Carter has been indoctrinated to believe that Israel is an apartheid state, despite a million Arabs living in Israel with no persecution whatsoever. And you say that Israel hates Arabs?
To withdraw to their legal boundaries or to publicize the plight of the Palestinians.
The reason I'm not talking all the time in the video is because,
Good faith peace talks. There had been a day of peace
well, the situation is complicated, but I can't just.
and I would say that if any
The situation is complicated, but I need to understand the full complexities of this nature.
back in the Congress the next term.
Wow, it's almost reminiscent of like an anti-Semite like Candace Owens. That's what she would say, and he's just spouting it. So, and this is, in
A lot of
so the fact that
I thought that American presidents were for equality. I guess there are certain exceptions, and say what you want about Donald Trump, but at least he say what you want about Donald Trump, but at least he defends but at least he defends the Jews and understands the truth of Israel and Palestine. Whether or not you like Trump or not, let's just all agree that no innocent civilians whatsoever deserve to be harmed or killed.
Our talent for memory is particularly salient today, after the death at the age of 100 of former President Jimmy Carter. While the rest of the world is now hailing him as a statesman who, after failing his one-term presidency, rose to become an unstinting peacemaker, a Nobel Peace Prize winner, and a paragon of now non-existent virtues. Many Jews will have a far more
Let me look up Jimmy Carter's history.
The man whose legacy could have been cherished by future Jewish generations, with streets in Jerusalem named for him, and the communities.
Oh, right. Jimmy Carter's a Democrat. Now, I am not saying that all Democrats or Republicans are bad. It's just that there are a lot of bad apples in the political system, regardless of your party.
If at all, as another Bernie Sanders. The tragedy is compounded by the fact that the Jewish state owes Carter an immense historical debt. In an anomalous way. His insistence on including the Soviets in the Middle East peace process immediately after Egypt succeeded in evicting them convinced President Anwar Sadat of the need to act swiftly and independently of the United States. The result came in November 1977.
I find it questionable as to how the Democratic Party of the United States would often want to join socialism, which is ironically going against what they want to fight for freedom. In fact, many socialist countries have been infamous for killing innocent civilians alike.
Carter was comfortable with Middle East dictators like Sadat, Hafez al-Assad, and the Shah of Iran, but endlessly critical of Israel's democratically elected leaders beginning with
Is it ironic how certain politicians are against Israel, and yet they are forgiving of certain Islamic leaders who have killed far more people than who have killed far more people than the amount of people that Israel has killed combined. And that's not even close. And that's not even close. Less Palestinians have died than the Syrians. 500,000 Syrians died in the name of their own government, not Israel, not some pro-Zionist Syria itself. It's a shame how media has distracted us for the truth. And I believe that we must avoid double standards if news must be seen as respected. Let me look up an academic source for Israel. Of course, the main thing you have to look for is peer review. It doesn't always have to be from an academic website. So it doesn't have to always be from a website with a certain domain that is associated with academics.
While shunning messages with Israeli leaders, he embraced Khaled Mashal, Ismail Haniyeh, and other terror chiefs. He supported the
I'm not really sure.
Israel for committing war crimes during the 2008-2009 conflict with Gaza and accused Israel of systemically starving Gazan civilian population. The terrorist attempts to board under
Might I point out that a lot of Gaza is very unstable now, and that a lot of innocent civilians often get their resources stolen to fuel the Hamas leadership and their army. I feel hesitant to give money to Gaza because I am afraid that the money will be misused to support the Hamas campaign, along with the mission to obliterate the Jews.
Carter talked endlessly and Begin said nothing. That did not prevent Carter from immediately going to the press and reporting on how he and Begin had discussed the peace process in the Middle East affairs. It was a total lie, the official told me, a fiction. That, unfortunately, is how many Israelis will remember Jimmy Carter, a person for whom the truth, especially about Israel, was easily discounted. A person who expressed not the slightest gratitude for the Israeli medical technology that successfully treated his melanoma, or for the Israeli Prime Minister who assured him.
I feel like regardless of your political opinion, you need to put effort into research. It's important because you want to be indoctrinated by the truth and do something that you regret later on in your life. Academic source or not, politics or not, can we all agree that we are all human beings and we all deserve proper and we all need proper guidance in order to progress into our lives? Unfortunately, many news focus more on dividing opinions rather than trying to find common ground and find a mutual agreements. I recall watching a cartoon called God's Gang, and I appreciate how it taught us about what the religions share in common: human rights.
And it's nothing new. The things that we're saying on JTV are nothing new. It's been this way since the fights.
Nasser hadn't gone to war in '67. The Sinai Desert and the Gaza Strip were in his hands. Where were the Palestinians? And why do good people tell us? If you had only
I have a question for you pro-Palestinian supporters. Where were the Palestinians prior to 1967? Where were they? I'm just curious. Answer. Might I point again, in case any of you forget, Palestine means invader in Hebrew. well, it's a low word, but still.
450,000,
Well, it's a,
500,000
well,
Arabs that fled.
well, it's from the
Became refugees
modern
in other
spelling, but
countries.
still.
And there were at least 300,000
Many
Jewish refugees in the camps
simple
in Europe
answer.
3 years
Because the Palestinians were technically Arab immigrants. Yes, you heard me right. Arabs. I'm not saying all Arabs are. I'm not trying to attack a certain ethnic group.
Since then, over 1 million Jews.
Let me look up the history of Palestine.
Myself, who was the austerity program? With
Yes, I may be biased regarding. Yes, I may be. Yes, I may support one side or the other, but that does not mean that I condone the eradication of any ethnic group.
The olive tree is a powerful symbol across the Middle East and Mediterranean. In interregnum in the 610s, crossroads between empires.
In fact, Palestine hasn't even existed. In fact, Palestine is a colony nation, having been colonized by the Romans after having been colonized after the Jews had left their land. And they set their own bases there. A side note, the original pronunciation of Yahweh has been forgotten ever since, because the temple that they would pronounce the name at once a year has been destroyed.
Canaan was caught in the geopolitics of the giants of the Jews. This sect claimed
Let me tell you about the history of Palestine. Let me tell you something else. The British were responsible for the Palestinian history. I mean, the Palestinian conflict, because they crossed both the Israelis and the Arab land. And so when both of them got into the same land, they had conflict over it and fought each other over it.
The Macedonian world conqueror is said to have prostrated before the high priest of the Second Temple upon his arrival in Jerusalem. But this may be propaganda. After Alexander's death and the fragmentation of his empire, the wars of the
The war is not about the land. The war is about about asserting their Islamic dominance and killing the Jews. No matter what false news there is, the truth is Hamas wants to kill the Jews.
This smart idea has been proposed a few times throughout history. Each thinks that God is on their side and it is all just stupid religious stuff. Well, you are wrong because you may well be next. Hamas and other friends.
You know, I've heard creeds for Palestine a lot, and I mean a lot, despite many Islamic governments persecuting those for being queer, even killing them in many cases. For Palestine even checks as non-binary, trans, gay, and any member of the LGBT community, and they check if they can fly. Yes, they do that to kill them, as an excuse to kill them. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. It's not. Make it make sense. You do not. You have to understand. You have to at least understand what the Islamic government stands for. I don't see most of them. I name one Islamic government that supports LGBTQ rights. Name one. Can you name one?
Whether they prefer European democracy or Sharia law, or whether it should be illegal to be gay. Really, just check the numbers. In 1948, there were 160.
Jews were never allowed the Jews.
2 million. In 1967, there were around a million Palestinians. Today, there are
The Arab nations also tried to eradicate the Jews from their country, forcing the Jews to flee to Israel, where they truly belong. Where they were originally from.
Syria 8 years ago.
It's a shame. It's a shame how many Arab countries would try to eradicate an ethnic group.
So yes, there is ethnic cleansing going on in the Middle East, but it is the Muslims who are doing it to the Jews. My next video.
The Muslims. Certain Muslims often kill Jews. I just want to make it clear, not all Muslims kill Jews, okay? Not all Muslims. Only the extreme ones. I would also like to point out that
Most of them will choose Israel. Israeli Arabs enjoy more rights and a higher standard of living than any Arabs in the Middle East. Did you know that it was an Arab judge that sent the president of Israel to jail? I guess not. Most Israelis don't know about this either. And you know why? Because what does it matter if the judge was a Jew or an Arab or a Druze? The president was a criminal, so he was sent to jail. Hamas doesn't like gays. You will have seen lots of so-called progressives marching proudly with the Palestinians in all Hamas demonstrations. They don't get put on the streets when 500,000 died in the war in Syria. They didn't demonstrate when Iran murdered.
I would also like to point out that certain people complain about being oppressed despite taking a lot of for what they have for granted. For example, they can simply walk down on the streets, dress however they want, without being needlessly beaten or harmed, or even worse, killed. In Iran, you don't get those rights. You get violently beaten for not even wearing your hijab if you're a female. What kind of government is that?
Is Gaza really the biggest prison camp in the world? Gaza shares border with Israel and Egypt. Israel doesn't control the border with Egypt. So how can it be a prison? Moreover, Hamas, which was elected in 2010,
I would also like to.
very clearly states
I'm gonna share one thing that's a bit off topic for the Israel and Palestine, but I feel like it's gonna be important.
Have you heard about any other country?
Let me look up a video about Joey Swole about
How about this? Did you know
about Elvira. No, not the fictional character. A content influencer known as Elvira La Elvira. Elvira. Hang on. Joey Swole using kids for content. This is a video. It's called Update OF Girl Plays a Victim and Gender Card, saying her content empowers women. Okay, I guess? It's from Joey Swole. I'll look at it. Wow, I get you want to sell your OnlyFans, but at the very least, don't show your naked ass cheeks in front of children. That's really weird. At the very least, don't do it for the sake of sexualizing yourself. I understand where there are situations where someone stole all your clothes and you have no choice but to walk around naked, but for this, it's just weird. It's just weird and illegal. Imagine if a man did that, he'd get arrested and condemned quickly. But women, you don't see a lot of women, at least in non-extremist governments, get punished for this. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you do realize that even the women are shocked? And you claim to be oppressed? Hang on. although it's not even shown in the video, so.
Just want to give an update to this video from the other day where this woman exposes herself in front of children, films it, then posts it online. Now, was she accountable, realizing that what she did was wrong and disgusting? No. Instead, she disabled comments and doubled down, saying,
I'll look at that. Let me read that description for you. She said, I have something to say. Do you want to stop OF? Leave the girls alone. The entire world system opposes us and puts labels on us. With this content, I am sending an important message. I do everything through humor and only a minimum of people understand what I am about. Are you angry about someone's butt? Get out, man, get out. You do realize that there were women who were shocked too, right? I mean, you do realize that there are also women who are embarrassed to be naked in public? That's just, I mean, like, how are you not at least embarrassed by being about showing your bare ass in public? Let me read the rest of the description. You dude, you can go to the gym without a shirt. Enjoy your freedom while you shame girls for scratching their butts in a public place and wearing something that is see-through. First off, there's a huge difference between not wearing a shirt and showing your ass cheeks. It is not the same. Being topless is not the same as showing your bare ass. There is a huge difference. And where do you see women get shamed for gross stuff that men do? Hang on, let me think of something more to say. I guess it's just okay for both genders like to be topless, but we both have to follow public decency rules, okay? Might I point out that when people criticize women for wearing something see-through, they only want them to be. They only want for them to wear decently. Not all men are into that sexual stuff the same way as you think they are. That wasn't the description. That was just my commentary. Hashtag freedom. Bye bye. Yes, that was in the. Yes, that what I just read was in the description. In regard to the humor part, yeah, that's a sexual harassment if you're doing it without the consent of the strangers. And regarding the oppression, you do realize that you're taking your freedom for granted, right? Certain Islamic governments oppress women, especially the extremist ones like Iran and Afghanistan. You can't even wear revealing clothing in Iran, or you will get violently beaten, or in extremely rare and unfortunate cases killed. And you say that you're oppressed? Wanting public decency is not the same as oppressing someone. Know the difference. Also, I am not angry at someone's ass cheeks. I am not simply seeing someone's ass cheeks doesn't make me angry. Of course, but indecency doesn't make me angry, but it makes me surprised. No. No. The people aren't angry at you because they're buttocks. The people are angry at you because they showed you ass in front of children. Young children who have not even developed their hormones to comprehend sexual things. To comprehend sexual desires yet. If you did that, could you imagine if you did that in an Islamic country? You get arrested quickly and then claim to be oppressed. Of course, I don't condone anything that goes too far against you, but you need to accept the consequences. You do realize there are also women who are kind of critical of your content, right? If you just... Here's a problem. If you just simply think things out of your own mind without at least considering the other mindset, are you really gonna get anywhere? Instead of simply trying to sexualize yourself in public, how about you stand up for the rights of Muslim women who are oppressed and don't enjoy the daily freedoms that men can? Of course, there are also Muslim women who are toxic, but that's not the main problem. But that's not the main thing I'm talking about.
Content empowers women. That the only reason people are upset with her is because she's an oppressed female. That this is no different than a man taking off his shirt at the gym. First off, not sure how this empowers women, but as far as being an oppressed...
Also, women fought to be respected in the workforce. They didn't fight just to be seen for their bodies. In fact, many women would prefer it if they got to know people rather than their looks alone. Of course, there are definitely those who only like people for the looks, but that's another story for now.
Female, you do know that if a man pulled out his ass in front of kids and filmed it, that he'd be arrested and go right to jail. Whereas you get to use it to try and sell more subscriptions to your exclusive content. If you don't want people to be mad at you, maybe try having some dignity and self-respect and not getting naked in front of kids. Okay, Pumpkin? You need to do better. Mind your own business.
Okay, I'm feeling a bit tired. I gotta end it now.